Well, the thing is just the confidence level. You know, there's nothing new now. He's been in the NBA long enough. He understands everything we're doing. So that gives him a level of confidence in everything he does on both ends of the floor. You know, he's getting older. He's, like you said, he's been battle tested. So you see that confidence level is the main thing that you see for him that I've seen the last couple of days.
A lot's been made about fourth quarter minutes for him. How much of that is a function of him and how much he's improved, and how much of it is a function of matchups?
Well, a lot of it is a function of both. You know, improving defensively, and I think he's done that this summer, and also matchups. You know, at the end of the games, you got guys that speed quicker, and I told him this summer, once you demonstrate that you can get down and guard those 6'7", 6'8" small centers, you're going to be out there all day. So there's never been a disagreement or anything controversial amongst the team. Everybody understood that. We're going to put the best defensive players with the defensive numbers out there. You know, and this summer is the time to develop and get better speed and quickness-wise defensively. So there's never a misunderstanding, and once he gets out there, I promise you, he'll be out there in the fourth quarter doing those things.
Do you see any comparisons between Jerry and DeMar?
Any comparisons? There's a post-ups. Yes, Eric is a post-up guy. I think he's an excellent guy to work with DeMar, because when we had Jerry in Dallas, he was one of our better besides Dirk. He was one of our best post-up guys. And DeMar is in the similar. You know, he's kind of contrary to the analytical game. You know, he's one of the best mid-range guys in the game because of his post-up game, and where he gets it. He equalizes things by getting to the free throw line. So both of them are very similar from that aspect.
Coach, knowing DeMar Carroll is obviously a natural three, but his versatility allows him to play the four. Has he got any time so far with the bigs yet?
No, not yet. No, not at the four position. We will get to that. It's one of the things on our bucket list is to work on in training camp is a small lineup. Because again, we have to be prepared for supposedly the trend that's coming in the league of teams going small. I'll believe it when I see it, but we got to be prepared for it when it does happen. And we'll get to that point. But he gives us so much versatility. I love his approach. He makes things so much easier for Terrence Ross and DeMar that he can guard the Queen Bee. Now, is he going to stop him every time? No, but he's going to make life a lot tougher. He's always going to be in the right place, and physically, he's going to give the resistance you have to have at that position.
So is this trend more a media creation than an actual factual thing?
No, I've read what coaches have said, and even I've probably said it, that the league is going that way. But I also will say, as long as that basket's 10 foot, you got to have size. Yep. And you know, what we got to do now is work with our size to guard smaller guys and quicker guys and that type of thing. And that's the change in the league that you're going to see is your big guys have to have the ability not only to be out there, but they've got to be able to defend pick and rolls, switch if they have to. You saw it in the championships in the playoffs with Cleveland and Golden State. Yep. And again, can you do that all the time? No. You know, you know, if the game goes that way, I think we're better prepared to do that.
Is there a danger? I mean, you mentioned this trend. Is there a danger of sort of, not your team specifically, but any team, losing yourself to sort of chase that trend and be prepared for that trend?
No, you don't lose yourself. What you have to do, if yourself is to dominate inside, you've got to dominate inside. You've got to make it where they've got to put a big guy in. But if you can't do that, then okay, now we've got to match versus their strength. But you try to make them take your will by force feeding it inside and doing it that way. And no, I don't think we'll ever lose ourselves. There's no way we're going to not go to JV or just, you know, anything like that. We're going to have an inside game with some of our post guys.
Dwane, you've talked in the past about the importance of having a few old heads around, guys that can, you know, bring guys along. Scola fits that definition, but he's clearly not at the point where that's all he can do for you.
No, he still has gas in the tank. You know, there's no question. Luis definitely has gas in the tank. He's so smart. He does a lot of subtle things that you don't even notice, the stunts, the talking, and he doesn't talk for the flash and dash of it. He talks with substance. And the same thing with DeMarre Carroll. That's the experience they bring to the table. They're out there talking to the young guys. They're not yelling it, screaming it, but they're saying good stuff to their teammates, and that's what you got to have. If you don't have 5 guys tied together out there, and they are the glue guys that gives you something. And
I mean, he's a guy who is, you know, like I said, his game is still, I don't know if it certainly hasn't plateaued. I mean, he's just coming off an MVP performance down there. But what you knew about him coming in, have you seen anything different at all in terms of, or maybe even surprised about something else that he brings to the table?
He's done everything and some. Just how hard he works, his attention to detail in the drills. He doesn't shortcut drills. They bring that level of professionalism, attention to detail to your team, and other guys are echoing that. The guys are saying, "Oh, I got to do it this way." So it's, again, they're doing things by example that is a big plus for our team, that they give us that professionalism and experience that help you get better, and they do it by example.
I was talking to Norman yesterday, and he mentioned how DeMar has kind of taken him under his wing. Has Scola done that with anyone in particular, or is he more just?
No, he's more by example. I haven't seen him. I don't know if he has or hasn't, but on the court he does it more by example than going to a specific player. He's talking to everybody. He's talking to the guards. He's talking to the bigs. He's talking to everybody about what to do in certain situations, which is what you need from an experienced player.
Dwane, all the conversations coming into this training camp was about defense, getting back to that defensive identity. Are you happy in the first few days of what you've seen from this group from a defensive perspective?
We're not ready to go out and win the Defensive Team of the Year award.
The progress.
So the progress is there. Just the addition of DeMarre Carroll, Bismack Biyombo, the improvement defensively, I think, attention where you putting DeMar on his same size guy. All those things have helped us be better defensively, and we're going to be better. And now we can't be like a couple of years ago. We were at 29th and jumped up to 4th and forgot about we got to get a balance. We can't, get so crazy and forget about scoring. We got to do that too, and we will do that. But we'll score in different ways, and I don't know if we're going to be the 106 and 104, whatever the number was we averaged a game last year. But we'll play a style that will travel, and play a style that hopefully will help us win the playoff games.
Now, you guys brought in some bodies defensively. You mentioned DeMarre Carroll and Bismack Biyombo, but the guys that were here, was it a different sell to them to get back to those defensive principles that were there 2 years ago?
Not yet. It was, but once we started scoring all those points, you take on that identity, offensive team. Okay, let's let them hurry up and score, and we go down and score. We're going to outscore everybody. I thought we developed in the second half of the season that mentality, and that's on me. I got to do a better job of selling them, making the offensive players play defense. But again, if they understand what the goal is and what the deal is, it shouldn't be that hard to sell. And we got guys now that understand that and take it literally, and understand that to win in this league, you got to have toughness, you got to have mental toughness when adversity hits, and you got to defend. And when teams attack you, even offensively, if you don't have the mental toughness to handle that, then you melt. And we added some guys, and I think DeMar came back with a toughness, Kyle came back with a toughness, all the guys that were here came back with that 2x4 on the shoulder, that saying, hey, if we don't play a certain way, what happened to us in the Washington series will happen to us. And again, we get excited, but I say this again, we're still a growing, developing program that I thought we got a little ahead of ourselves last year and thought we were, a little better than what we were. And it bit us in the behind, and we're not going to let that happen this year.
DeMar, when I was talking to him, mentioned he was humbled by what happened last year. Do you think is that collective? Like, is there a sense of you get swept, it's embarrassing to an extent.
It's embarrassing, and so it should humble us, and it did me. it should humble each player. It should humble everybody. It should humble everybody involved. And I think it did, and that's why the front office went out and brought in guys that are ready to help us, and the core guys come back, I think, with the right attitude and the right approach. So, which is good. And I don't feel the air that we had last year of saying, "Whoa, we're not there yet." We're coming from looking from behind. That hey, we're a growing team, and we got to continue to work, and we haven't done anything in this league yet. And so that's the attitude we're going to have.
Dwane, I just spoke to Damari about how much he's enjoying the experience, specifically of doing training camp here in Vancouver. What do you see the advantages of having training camp out here?
Yeah, I think it's great. The city itself, the fans, the facilities here is second to none. Like right now, in between practice, we can go upstairs and guys can have their day rooms. You can eat right here. Everything is right here under one roof. Guys don't go home or go back to the hotel between practices, so it's very conducive to that. And then, too, being a Canadian team, the only team in the country, it gives us an opportunity to share a spotlight a little bit with the rest of the country. We're going to Montreal. We're going to Ottawa. So I think that's just, we have that obligation as an organization to represent the country. Believe me, if we were in Timbuktu, we'd probably stay somewhere close to that area. But we owe it to the country of Canada to continue to develop and spread the word about the Toronto Raptors.